All right. Hey, Shalom.
Oh,
Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, and, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all Joachim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. And it's a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp. I'm the brother Korah Abad. And as always, got the beloved Adataza as well.
Shalom, Shalom. Hey,
Can, hey,
there.
Shalom. And man, the Wadi How Bashim Al Shai, for blessing us with another opportunity, as we always like to say. Because everything is of the Lord, man. The happenings in the world is of the Lord. And part of that, not part of that, that's a whole part of it, but even what the Lord going to allow us to go into in this lesson, we know it as the MOTB, something new is a new prophecy. No other prophet of old talked about this but John the apostle, or they would call John the Revelator, Yahweh best friend, man. But just as these things plan out, and we gonna get a little information, a little words here from the that's a spirit. It's on 144, and I really ain't try to do that. The video 144,
Yeah, that's the
but
spirit.
it's a spirit. So
Yep.
but the dude who took part in creating, coming up with the concept of the MOTB, we gonna let him talk. And even while he was creating it, he never even knew about a Revelation 13. So all these things that's happening, man, is of the Lord, and it is beautiful times we living in. It's beautiful times we living in. Like you said before, this other Tazapa, it's just work and just this the system pretty much. But hey, we know it's almost over with, and it feel good to watch this place fall.
Yeah. I'm gonna take joy in that, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, watching this shit fall apart. But yeah, we got cause to praise. You understand? Praise Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. We got cause to rejoice. It's the wicked, beginning with Esau, Edom, and the rest of the heathens who need to be mourning. You know, and we're gonna get into in the Book of Acts. In the classes. Well, shit, we did get into it
Mm-hmm.
last week. We got into it. Y'all probably went into it last night, but right, that's the times that we living in. We living in the time of the acts of the prophets. You know, which is you could also say the acts of the Holy Spirit. Or the Holy Spirit is heavy in the earth.
Yes.
So it's heavier now than back then because now it's global. Back then it was on that side of the world, on the east, in the eastern hemisphere, where they were doing the miracles and prophesying and preaching the gospel, teaching about Yahweh Shai. You know, Yahweh Shai hadn't came to this side yet back then when the apostles was going in. But now it's global. We got brothers in the UK, all shit, other parts of Europe going hard. Holland, going hard down in the South, Central Americas, and even the apostles been going into Joel 2:28. The most high pouring out his spirit among all flesh. And that means just that, all flesh. And you got these heathens prophesying. That's how heavy the Holy Spirit is in the earth right now. So with that being said, how can you say the mark is not a microchip?
Mm-hmm.
As heavy as the Holy Spirit is, and you claim to be a man of the Lord, and you can get that wrong? Come on, man. But hey, shit. With the Lord, He said, um, if the blind lead the blind, then they'll both fall into the ditch. Um, and even before that, He said, let them alone. They be the blind leaders of the blind. So Yahweh Shai was saying we was gonna have that. He don't want all Israel. So he has these stumbling blocks. But yeah, brother, you got heathens that see this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even believe in the Bible. And they'll tell you, oh, I ain't putting no microchip. That's the mark of the beast. I ain't read the Bible. But anyway, bro, let's get into the show, man. You got some good stuff tonight with this
Kind
evening.
I got a quick precept. You're going to see Howard Shai
Oh,
and
yeah,
brothers
yeah, let's
preaching
get it.
across the world in the gospel. There's Matthew
Let's get it.
24 and verse 14. It says, in this gospel, right? You know, this gospel, particular gospel, and it starts from the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, man. Whether people believe it or not, it's just true. Like Elder Ariala says, it's really just true. You know, you know what prove it, because it's happening. Elder Tazapah, you always say the burden of proof. What these men have been saying, one have been playing out, but now we see it clearly in these times. It gotta be that. So it says Matthew 24 and 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Meaning what? When the true gospel go to the four corners, these Isaiah 55 and I think around 11, these things gonna have to come forth. This is when it rain, the water come down, it don't go back up like a boomerang. It come down on earth, go into the soil, and it brings forth or produce flowers, vegetation, right? It produced things. The Lord says, so shall his word be that goeth forth. When the prophet starts speaking these things, guess what gotta happen? Something gotta produce or bring forth things in the earth. And this is the main prophecy right here that we waiting on, the MOTB, the mark of the beast. This the last, the one of the last ones, the main one, and then this is gonna bring in World War III, and Jacob's trouble gonna happen in the midst of those, man. So we can hop into it. And again, so the title says Thursday Live, the plan of the elites from CBDC to MOTB, the end goal, man. So we're gonna start it off with this video right here. And Lord willing, it kind of roll in the spirit, but we're gonna play the video of Richard Werner, and he go into the elites got an ultimate plan. They want to control everybody. Matter of fact, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I was gonna
get it, brother. Get it.
I'm gonna get it real quick. Because this the plan. This the plan they've been putting in place. They've been putting in place, and it's finally here. Because why? They got the technology to do so. They got they got the means and the abilities to bring it forth now. Psalm 64 and 1. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. And I seen an elder in Birmingham. He went into a lesson that says you can't spell enemy without E. Right. You see? Right. Protect us from what the Edomite, the so-called white man, these heathens got going on the earth. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. It says they encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And we in that time, the plan of the so-called white man, their families is here. So they land snares in front of people. It says they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. And for this man to put a digital chip in you, to link your body and to be able to see your mind, what you're thinking, your dreams, you got to do some deep research for that. It says both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. I'm gonna read the NLT and we can get into it. If you don't got nothing, Zaquan says Psalm 64 and 6. As they plot their crimes, they say, they say we have devised the perfect plan. And that's what they think this new world order is, the perfect plan. Chipping people, controlling everybody like it's gonna work out. But we know what Job prophecy say. It says they say we have devised the perfect plan. Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning, man. So when that time Esau trying to bring forth this system that they've been planning for a long time. You got something to come before we play this first vid?
That's where they go into the secret council in the NLT.
Yep.
Okay. And that's how this all of this mark of the beast which was sanctioned by the Most High, as Apostle Tahar has stated on a few occasions, more than once. This is the Most High's mark on the left-hand side. But it came about through secret counsel. All right? You can't tell people you want to brand them with an electronic awl. You know, you got to keep that secret, and then you got to hatch a plan for the people to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can sneak it in them. You know, and so, right, that's just one of the things that he's done. But that's his whole modus operandi, his method of operation. The secret counsel and doing things, you know, clandestinely. But anyway, you got it out.
Kind of real quick, just the brother Bama Lock, Shalom Mark, and Shalom to all the Akim.
Shalom, brother.
Second Corinthians 20:11. 2 Corinthians 20:11, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And see, the Lord gave us the wherewithal, you know, the lens to see the so-called white man plan before he do it. We telling him he gonna do it. And I'm gonna say this, everything these men talking about in these videos we playing, think about it. Our apostles been saying it. Now it's just Habakkuk 2 in the thing, you know, 2 and what 1 through 4. It's happening, it's speaking. But let's go ahead and play it. So it says central bank want CBDCs. And Zaquan, if you got a point as we plan it, let me know.
Yeah, Con.
Oh, hold on. So like it, but what I'm gonna let him play it. But this video, we plan this first because Richard Werner, he gonna make the point of, in order for a New World Order to work properly, they have to bring in a CBDC system first. And the way to do that, you have to start with digital IDs. Guess what's happening now? Everybody doing what? Digital IDs. You see? And then we'll play another video next. He's gonna describe what this CBD system gonna look like, what it entails, and we know it as Revelation 13, man.
I don't have any sound.
What'd you say?
I don't have any sound.
Oh, you don't?
I know.
Can y'all brothers hear it? Let me see. I could probably let me see. I could stop that. I'm gonna try to bring it back on the screen again. Okay, Brahma Lock said no sound either. All right, let's see if this works.
All right.
Good.
Yeah, I hear that.
CBDCs is become a big topic. I mean, already the name is quite revealing. Central bank digital currencies. I mean, they're presented. CBDCs are presented as if it's something brand new, when the reality is we've been using BDCs, bank digital currencies, for many decades. You know, there's nothing new about that, and it works well. Bank digital currencies. That's our current system. So the only
Salaki, I don't mean to stop it so early, but I want to make this point because it's going to help as he go on, as the lesson go on. If you heard what he just said, Elder Tazapah?
Yeah.
And I promise I ain't gonna keep stopping it. Okay, see, I'm gonna play it back because what he gonna say is the elites need a CBDC to come, but we already been in BDC.
Yeah, the BDC, right.
CBDC is central bank digital currency. BDC is bank digital currency. And what he go explain is that bank digital currency, we already doing that. When you check your money, how much money you got, you don't just count physical money. No, you go check some numbers on the phone. Right? When you get paid, there's numbers on the phone now. When you send and receive money, it's numbers on a phone. We already in bank digital currency. But the difference is what the elite's trying to get it now. They're trying to do the CBDC, so it's all going to be centralized to where the government call the shots now. Before we play it real quick, we asked ChatGPT, you got something?
Yep. No, I just said, yep.
We asked ChatGPT, it says, what was the difference? It says people often use BDC and CBDC interchangeably, but they are not exactly the same thing. The key difference is who issues and controls the digital money. And ultimately, for example, BDC, if you under Wells Fargo, right, that's who issue and control what you got going. Chase, right? Regions Bank, whatever other bank out there. CBDC, this is going to be issued and controlled from the government. And ultimately what this is, the government is taking away the middleman, the banks, and it's going to have to be dealt straight with them. Meaning, for example, Wells Fargo couldn't give you guidelines to live by and tell you what to do in order to use and spend your money or get your money. But guess who can? The government can. That's the difference. That's the difference. It says simple definition first, CBDC, central bank digital currency. Right? We could jump down. It says easy analogy. Imagine money in three forms. Number one, physical cash printed by the government. Example, a $20 bill. A bank deposit, BDC, is money sitting in your bank account. A CBDC, digital version of government cash stored digitally instead of paper. Now it goes into this. It says, no, we asked it this, right? About if the CBDC now could that make the government make control laws, and we'll play the video. It says with the it says yes, that is one of the biggest concerns people discuss around CBDCs, though the exact powers depend on how the system is designed and the laws of the country. It says because the currency is issued and controlled by the central bank and ultimately the government legal system, a CBDC could technically allow freezing accounts instantly, restricting transactions, monitoring purchases, limiting where money can be spent, setting expiration dates on money, automatic tax or fine collection, and programmable spending rules. This is often called programmable money. Examples, stimulus funds can only be used for food, rent, and utilities. Right. So, and that's the difference. Like Wells Fargo can't tell you about your social credit score and they ain't gonna give you no money where you can use it. But with a CBDC, the government can. And that's what he go explain what they're going to. So like it's a quite, I ain't mean to kind of be long-winded, but give a foundation to everything.
I heard him say that because I remember you had mentioned it. But shit, you broke that thing down.
Hey,
So CBDCs have become a big topic. I mean, already the name is quite revealing. Central bank digital currencies. I mean, CBDCs are presented as if it's something brand new, when the reality is we've been using BDCs, bank digital currencies, for many decades. There's nothing new about that. And it works well, bank digital currencies. That's our current system. So the only difference is the central aspect. And who's pushing for this? Well, the central planners. And is there a need for it? No, there's absolutely no need for this. Because the current financial system doesn't have any problems in terms of settlement and transactions, because we have choice. There is a lot of choice. Once you introduce CBDCs, there's many risks and dangers of that, but one obvious one is that you are actually going to reduce choices, because for CBDCs to properly do their job from the perspective of the issuer, the central banks, you need to get rid of the competition. You need to get rid of cash. That actually is a declared goal of CBDCs. You've got plenty of studies by central banks and other economists in favor of CBDCs arguing that we need to abolish cash and then introduce CBDCs, because then we can have negative interest rates. We can take money directly out of people's pockets. While you still have cash, of course, you can flee from the from the financial system and put your money to cash, and then they can't punish you with negative interest rates. That's why they want to abolish cash. But also, once you introduce CBDCs, you will actually destroy the banking system, because the next crisis, which the central planners have been very good at creating, when that happens, all the money will be pushed and incentivized to move from banks to the central banks. Then the banks are gone, and you're left with a Soviet-style system. But most of all, the really big dangers of CBDCs are the programmability, which is that essentially it's not even money. It's like your money becomes potential money, because it depends on a central planner to agree that you should now be allowed to spend this money in this location for this particular transaction and in this particular volume that you want to do. Well, why should that be conditional? But it is going to be when they describe programmability. That's what it's all about. That you can, I mean, of course, they present it from a positive side. We can give money to the people who really need it. That's how they will formulate it. But the other side of the coin is that this means that they have their ideas on who should spend money on what and when. And that will be reflected. And sometimes when you want to spend, they'll decide this is no good because you've already used too much carbon. Your carbon footprint is too big, or you've eaten too much beef, or whatever it may be. So we are talking about essentially some kind of social credit scoring or other similar system, and really it's not your money anymore. It is quite daring, and of course, they've played this well because, Bitcoin and these cryptocurrencies have been used as the excuse. Oh, look, there's Bitcoin out there, so there's demand for digital currency, so we should offer it as a central bank. Well, no, that's complete nonsense, because the Bitcoiners will very quickly explain they're trying to flee from the bad policies of the central planners in the first place. So I think that's one function that it clearly has already served, to allow central banks to come out and say, oh, CBDCs will be a good idea now. Yeah. But the other function, I think, has been to suppress the gold price, because, Bitcoin has been marketed partly as sort of the digital gold. Since the central planners have created enormous amounts of money since 2020, one traditional and normal warning signal would be, watch the gold price, go ballistic, and that hasn't happened. And one reason, of course, is the massive intervention by the biggest owners of gold, which is the central banks, to keep it down. And to make that task easier, it helps if there's other outlets for those doubters, and critics of central bank policies. Where else can they put their money? Well, there's Bitcoin, you see. Well, the push for CBDCs is the final step in a multi-decade.
Check this out. The CBDC is a final step to a multi-decade. It's a long plan they've been having for a long time.
Program by central planners is the final other outlets for those doubters, and critics of central bank policies. Where else can they put their money? Well, there's Bitcoin, you see. Well, the push for CBDCs is the final step in a multi-decade program by central planners to increase their power over the people, over countries. This is the ultimate step, because the powers of CBDCs are so extraordinary that, even the worst dictators in past centuries could only have dreamt of having such enormous power over the lives of so many people.
I got Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed. All right. So when he say multi-decade, it's been since 1776. That was the plan of the Illuminati. All right. That's the secret council. They want to control the world. They put it on the back of our money, with the pyramid and all of that. The eagle with the arrows in his claws and all that, showing you that they wanted world dominance. And that's what he's talking about. And that's scary. Just hearing him talking about it. and knowing this man. Yeah, it's better to die than to take the mark. Yeah, this man, that's the devil. That's why I say grievousness, which they have prescribed, which prescribed means pre-write. Okay? Right, they don't never write nothing to our benefit or pass laws or legislation to do anything for the people. And that's what America was allegedly set up for we the people. And we're supposed to have constitutional rights. And now we see all of that is being thrown away. And now they talking about CBDCs. All right. So when you give them that type of power, I mean, you really at their literally at their mercy. Whether you eat or not is up to them. You know? But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out, man. That's grievousness. They talking about grievousness. You don't know what the parameters or the guidelines or the recommendations may be for you to keep that chip or to keep it on. You know? And again, we're talking about the devil. But anyway, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that's right. That brother Obama Locke said data centers needed for this total control. That's right.
Fine. Yeah. What they showed in the Matrix, that's what they're building. And how the only really living humans was somewhere underground because the earth was destroyed. That's what this devil is doing. The data center is going to destroy all the water. When the scriptures say if the Lord don't come back, there will be no flesh left to be saved. I think that's Matthew 24 and 22. But for the elect's sake, you know, he's going to shorten the days because this devil is going to destroy the earth. Just data centers alone. Billions of gallons of water a day. You know, and who knows once, you know, this water is used, if it's reusable, which it probably will not be. But then they're building, like here in Texas, they're going to build with this huge mega data center up in the Panhandle, they're building a nuclear reactor to power it. And all they do is poison the land and water around it. Then you got this data centers, people that live near them suffering vertigo, dizziness, migraines, and all this shit. These people and their creations are unnatural. And they destroy humanity. Everything he touches, he destroys humanity, brother. And I got to bring this out. This kind of been on my spirit, you know, with these goddamn devils. All right. It's a lot here.
Nah, you good.
Okay.
Bring it out.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna just go into it. This is Malachi chapter 1 and 1 and 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Okay? And a lot of points right there, but the main point that these people are the border of wickedness. Right? And the Most High hate these people. He said he had indignation toward them forever. So everything they put their hands on, blood come with that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything he does, this devil has to be stopped. But yeah, with them saying they're gonna return and build the desolate places, you know, and they came and when they came into rulership in the Renaissance, they went about to build the desolate places. All right, everything that we had destroyed, the Most High had destroyed, they said, I'm gonna build it back up in their rebellion. And the Lord said, okay, go ahead. And I'm gonna throw down. All right, they rebuilding the image of Rome, they rebuilding the Tower of Babel, you know, spiritually. Everything that the Lord hates. Even in you know, you brought this out a few weeks ago. The devils rebuilding the image of goddamn Sodom and Gomorrah by the shit they was doing out there. Everybody know the Most High made that desolate where they say, oh, we're gonna bring that back. And they did a fucking ritual. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, that's like I am aiming to cut you off. Said they said they was gonna spin a block.
Right. That's what you said. You had brought that out. Yeah, and see, and that's why the Lord say they should build, but I will throw down, and they should call them the border of wickedness, talking about the powers that be, Esau, Edom. But yeah, I just had to bring that out, man, because this devil has the whole world, bro, is in wickedness. It's under the evil of Esau. And he only gonna ramp it up with these CBDCs and the MOTBs.
That's right.
But go ahead, go ahead.
And that's it. And we're gonna play this video right here in a couple more seconds. And he go describe, because a lot of people talk about CBDCs, but he gonna say, well, what it look like though? He gonna tell us exactly what it's supposed to be. But I'm gonna play a couple more seconds of this video, because he was going into how first, before a new world order gotta come, they gotta start a digital system, and it's the first step to it. And that's what we're seeing now. That's why everybody forcing their people one way or another to get a digital ID. It's one of the first steps of it.
Sort of lay the groundwork for CBDCs, there's plenty of evidence. I mean, why did the Bank of England come out and you will be punished? It's a digital prison. The COVID operation, I mean, it's quite clear that many of the policies had no proper medical justification or purpose. And so, whereas if you have the hypothesis that partly was used to even sort of lay the groundwork for CBDCs, there's plenty of evidence. I mean, why did the Bank of England
CV19 laid the groundwork for this digital system, man?
Come out in March 2020, around the time when the first lockdown was announced, with its first sort of public consultation meeting online about, while we're locked down, about introducing CBDCs and all the benefits and needs of CBDCs. Also, of course, this vaccine passport, it was a way to push digital IDs, which are precondition for CBDCs. In order to introduce CBDCs, you need digital IDs, and digital IDs were meant to be introduced with the vaccine passport or health passport, which is a form of digital ID. And so there is a direct connection there to these COVID policies. I mean, the COVID...
Boom. So before you can really have a digital system, they need to connect the people identification with the health records first. And then once that's connected, now the financial side of it could be linked with all that. And that's where we at right now in the mix of it, man. Right? Now, we'll play this one right quick. It says Richard Werner on CBDCs and how they prepare you to be their slave. He's going to describe what this thing looked like.
To have some basic understanding of Japanese and writing these in Japanese, but I think the secret service agencies, they like to sometimes give hints, because really they'd like to be talked about, but they have to work in secret,
Wow. Yeah. So and it came up earlier, and the whole mystery of Bitcoin or of digital coins might be involved as well. But then we came to the COVID-19 event, and how do they want to build up their central bank digital currencies on COVID events?
Yes. So the idea had been by central banks to introduce this, as we said, central bank digital currency. But the one funny thing is that they'd never told us, and by now we've had lots of articles on CBDC, right? But have you ever seen an article or a video or, whatever description of what it actually looks like? I mean,
hear them out. What it actually look, everybody talk about CBDCs, but what it look like? When this system come forth, what is going to lead to everybody having to be a part of? What it look like? He go explain it.
With central
banks, and how do they want to build up their central bank digital currencies on COVID events?
Yes. So the idea had been by central banks to introduce this, as we said, central bank digital currency. But the one funny thing is that they'd never told us, and by now we've had lots of articles on CBDC, right? But have you ever seen an article or a video or, whatever description of what it actually looks like? I mean, with central bank paper money, we know what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Bank digital currency, we know, and, we've used it ourselves. We know what it looks like. But what does central bank digital currency look like? You see? So they never talk about that because people won't actually like the looks of it.
Yeah.
Because it apparently looks, and several central banks apparently, as I
IUIC definitely ain't gonna like the looks of it. Because they did speak on the CBDC, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if they gonna like this.
Yep. Let's see.
And we've used it ourselves. We know what it looks like. But what does central bank digital currency look like? You see? So they never talk about that because people won't actually like the looks of it.
Yeah.
Because it apparently looks, and several central banks apparently, as I heard from my sources, have already fully developed the final stage of CBDC. I mean, it comes in stages, initially likely through your mobile phone, but that's only an intermediate step.
Oh, I ain't catch that at first. The final stage, that's what he about to make the point on. See?
Yeah, he say it's coming in stages. Okay, that makes sense.
Man, now that makes sense, Quan, because it's gonna come in stages. First, everybody might get a little Fed Now card, a Fed Now account when they give you a stimulus check every month, and you only can spend it on rent, utilities, and food. But then the next stage may be, some, and they go, but the last stage, that's what we talking about. And see, Revelation 13, the Bible just got to the last stage. It ain't have to hit stage 1, 2, 3, or however many stage got to the last one, the end goal, the end game, man. Let's see what this thing look like. You see, like, is it you have something else?
Yeah, you see, he said, but that's like that ain't nothing. That's intermediary. I believe that was the word. But what he's saying is they gonna fast track them first steps, first 2 or 3 steps to get to the main show. There's gonna be fast track. You hear him say, "Oh, that's just intermediary." Talking about the stages, because they just gonna fly through it. The main thing is to get everybody on board and identified. Once they got everybody identified, they putting you on the thing. It's gonna take them a while to get millions of people into the system. You talking about hundreds of millions, well, billions. Of people. This is gonna take some time. But anyway, go ahead, brother Salaki.
Now you good. Real quick, to back you up, Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, so-called white man, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
See, I already read that one. See, you had to see my lesson earlier. I read it in advance because I knew we was gonna need it. See, that's being in the spirit. See, come on, brother. But no, you got it.
God, let's see what this CBD, the last stage of the CBDC, gonna be like. What is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? What is it gonna look like?
And the whole mystery of Bitcoin or of digital coins might be involved as well. But then we came to the COVID-19 event, and how do they want to build up their central bank digital currencies on COVID events?
Yes. So the idea had been by central banks to introduce this, as we said, central bank digital currency. But the one funny thing is that they never told us, and by now we've had lots of articles on CBDC, right? But have you ever seen an article or a video or, whatever description of what it actually looks like? I mean, with central bank paper money, we know what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Bank digital currency, we know, and we've used it ourselves. We know what it looks like. But what does central bank digital currency look like? You see? So they never talk about that because people won't actually like the looks of it.
Yeah.
Because it apparently looks, and several central banks apparently, as I heard from my sources, have already fully developed the final stage of CBDC. I mean, it comes in stages initially, likely through your mobile phone, but that's only an intermediate step. Mm. And the final stage is, it's small, and it's the size of a grain of rice. Now, why is that?
And that grain of rice is your entire wallet, or?
Yes, it's your digital ID, your wallet, can be your passport, your key. Now, of course, what we found with our debit cards or credit cards is they've already now moved to the system, RFID chips, RFID technology, where you just wave the thing, contactless.
Yes,
that is sort of the conditioning us in this direction. Like in the future, you'll just wave your hand because you've got the microchip implant under your skin, and because and each step there's a rational reason. It's easier just to wave this, isn't it? It's much faster because we always have to wait in the queues as everyone types in their numbers and all that. So just wave it, it's quicker. But the next rationalization would be, but you can lose your card. Somebody can steal your card.
You said something, Zaquan, because I'm just, we just letting them talk. But he said it. That's what the last stage of the digital system, the CBD system, gonna look like. Yeah, you might get on your phone first, but the last stage is a chip going into everybody.
Yep.
The MOTB.
I ain't say nothing.
Mm-hmm. From CBDC
you good, bro.
to MOTB, And the apostles been saying that's Revelation 13, 15 through 17 all day. All day. He calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, a charagma, in their right hand or their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that got the mark. That have the mark. This is what it's coming to. See, even without this man saying that, we don't need him to tell us that. We know it. We already know this the plan, but there's just more a sure word of prophecy that it got to be the truth.
Right.
Got to be the truth.
It got to be. It got to be. No, people don't even realize that when you read, you read that, or you just quoted it.
I had quoted it.
Yeah, but he calls it all right. Right now, he's tokenizing everything right up under everyone's noses. From the stock market to your 401ks to everything is becoming a part of blockchain. Blockchain is eating up everything. All right. And that's how he's causing all. He through tokenization. All right. Look into that term. Tokenization. All right. It's the digitalization of all assets to be put into blockchain. And so the last step, like he said, the last step of CBDC is to tokenize your ass. But they got to have a system in place before they can tokenize you. But they can't tokenize you, have you sitting around waiting for the infrastructure to come. No, they put the infrastructure right up under your nose. They build it, frame it, set it in place, and then they bring you into that prison. You build the prison first, and then you bring the prisoners. And so that's why that's the last step, is the MOTB.
That's right.
That's the last step. That's what he said. That's the last part of CBDC. You know, it is, that's what we've been saying. That's your CBDC. Your money is going to be on your chip. But the spirit hit me, you know, when the brother had told me that, the spirit hit me and said, well, shit, this is a continuation, a digital continuation of what we've been in. You know, of being currency through the birth certificate, the social security card. Tokenization is the digital part of that, the digital counterpart to your birth certificate. That's why he said the first step is a digital ID, right? Your birth certificate. And you can also be identified by your social security, but first, your first form of ID is your birth certificate. All right, so they got to birth you into the system through this tokenization process of digitalizing you. And of course, they use the frog in the pot method. So they ain't just gonna throw you in there. Yeah, like you said, and you know, you get it on the phone at first, or they may still, you know, issue some cards to people.
Right.
They'll take this card, and then as it flip over, well, see, now you got to go down to your local so and so, wherever they're gonna be doing it, and you have to get implanted. Got to get implanted. You want to continue getting your benefits, because we're here to help. See, we're the U.S. government, and we're here to help. And so just go down there to your local wherever, DMV, the post office. I bet you can get chipped at the post office. You can get your what you call it at the post office, your passport.
Passport.
I bet you they'll be chipping, going down to the post office and get fitted for this system. You know, get your jumpsuit, your digital jumpsuit, because you going to prison. But yeah, brother, that's the tokenization part that he's causing off. And people don't realize this is being done right now. It's being put in place. They not playing. You know, because as the brother mentioned, no, you read that. They don't have but a short time. But go ahead,
Nah, that's it. They got a short time. I play it back one more time. We're gonna wind it down.
You know, it's small, and it's the size of a grain of rice. Now, why is that?
And that grain of rice.
You know what? BlackRock been buying up everything, a lot of real estate here in America. They major players right now going into the tokenization. And so, you know, that's a major part of your housing market. I mean, everything will be blockchain, you know? So, you know, when they say he caused it all, you will not have a place to stay. They already got the food locked down. You will not have anything to eat, because they are producing, I can't say produce, lab producing the food now. And they made sure that they've been I know for sure the last 10 years, destroying farmland and crops and destroying farmers. that had thriving farms, systematically destroying. And so, yeah, we here now, ain't no food being grown. We don't know what the hell we're eating. But yeah, all of that, bro, they got everything. What they eat is what you eat is gonna come out of the lab. And the same with what you drink. Ain't no housing. You're gonna be in a 15-minute city, and will be no automobiles. They keep calling, trying to sell me car insurance on the goddamn, for the engine and shit. We damn near got into it, cause man, I don't want that. Don't you know they finna do away with driving and all this shit? Just gadding abroad? They don't want nobody gadding abroad. No, I ain't finna pay no extra money for no maintenance insurance and all that, man. Shit. The just shall live by faith. Right? Most High is my insurance. And it's him that get me from point A to point B anyway. But go ahead,
No, that's it. That's it.
Wallet or?
Yes, it's your digital ID.
Yeah.
Your wallet can be your passport, your key. Now, of course, what we found with our debit cards or credit cards is they've already now moved to the system, RFID chips, RFID.
RFID chips. Now, we're going to play this real quick. Now, this is a man, Carl Saunders, and brother's been playing this video, played it for, seen this years ago. But want to highlight it now just to show that the plans of the Lord will stand. Like it said, what that is, I know it's somewhere in Isaiah when he said, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. I know it's like verse 9 and 10. I know it's verse 9 and 10. Isaiah something. Salakia.
My bad.
No, you good. But my counsel shall stand from the end. He have set the declared the end in the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning. I don't know though. I don't know.
If a brother want a Bible Kashab posted on the comment board, he declared the end in the beginning, and his counsel shall stand. He will do all his pleasure. But it's cool. I'm gonna just kind of give a background on this video real quick instead of playing the whole thing. This man to the left, the bigger guy, his name Carl Saunders. He was of the team of engineers that created the CHIP, and he said that they was chosen to create this in 1966. 66. Even that's the Lord Himself just showing as a little clue, right? But first, it started off with them trying to heal a woman, a paralyzed woman, he said, and put the chip in it, but it didn't work too well. Then the CIA and the FBI came to him and said, look, we need you to do this. Right? And they wanted a lithium battery in there. And he go into him and his team. They had to do a lot of research because lithium batteries needed heat in order to keep running. So after doing the research, it was 2 spots in the body that constantly generated heat. Let's find out what them 2 spots is again. The end goal was the MOTB, which is the RFID micro CHIP. And as he was going through his testimony, he kept saying, I didn't read the Bible at this time. I wasn't a Christian. He didn't know nothing about it. But man's goings of the Lord. Let's play it a little bit.
100 people involved in the project. Early 70s.
Și a fost completat.
They came with a lot of money.
Și au venit și mi-au oferit foarte mulți bani.
And so we were willing to do whatever we could.
Așa că am fost gata să facem tot ce ni s-a cerut.
I want to tell you at this point that I was not a Christian and I did not want anything to do with Christians.
La timpul acesta în care eu lucram la acest proiect, vreau să vă spun că nu eram credincios și nici nu aveam să am de-a face nimic cu credința în Dumnezeu și cu viața de credință.
We had developed the first identification device.
Am proiectat și am conceput primul aparat de identificare.
And it was completed in the early 70s.
Și a fost completat acest proiect în începutul anilor.
They started in 1966, they completed in the 70s.
70.
They came back to us and they said, we want something better than that.
Și au venit înapoi la noi și ne-au spus, vrem ceva mai bun decât ce ați făcut până acum.
And so we said, if you have enough money, we can develop anything.
Și le-am spus, dacă aveți bani destui, nu putem să concepem orice, să proiectăm ce vreți voi.
I was not alone there. There were 100 people involved in the project.
Proiectul acesta nu era numai al meu, singur lucram la el, erau 100 de oameni care lucrau împreună cu mine.
Some were from General Electric, some from Motorola,
Unii erau de la compania General Electric, alții de la Motorola,
some were from the Bell Laboratories,
alții de la laboratorul Bell
some were from the Boston Medical Center,
și alții de la Centrul Medical din Boston
and some were from Stanford University.
și unii de la Universitatea Stanford.
My responsibility was project leader or the senior project engineer.
Și responsabilitatea mea eram conducătorul proiectului sau inginerul senior.
We began to work on the design of a microchip
Și am început să lucrăm, să proiectăm acest microchip,
that, when it was completed,
astfel încât a trebuit să fie, când a fost terminat,
was 0.75 millimeters in diameter,
avea un diametru de 0,7 mm,
7 millimeters long.
7
Same thing Richard Werner said too.
mm lungime,
It was the size of 1/4 of a grain of rice.
era de mărimea a patra a unui bob de grâu. O pătrime.
Again, I want to say that I was not a Christian and there were no Christians there.
Și vreau să vă spun că nici eu nu eram credincios și niciunul dintre cei care lucram nu știu să fi fost credincioși.
They said they wanted this to have a power source and be able to emit a signal.
Mi-au spus că acest microchip pe care l-am făcut trebuie să aibă o sursă de energie ca să poată să transmită.
And they told us they wanted us to use lithium as a battery source.
Și ne-au spus că pentru bateria care va trebui să alimenteze, să folosim litium, elementul acesta litium.
Lithium's used in watch batteries, it's used in heart pacemaker batteries, it's used in a lot of places.
Litium e folosit în bateriile de la ceas, în cei care au pacemaker, nu știu cum ce pe românește, la inimă, ca să regleze bătăile inimii.
I designed into this microchip a little charging circuit that would charge that battery.
Și am făcut ca să aibă și o linie prin care să se încarce aceste baterii.
This sounds like a lot of technical things coming together, but if you'll bear with me one minute, you'll see what God has laid out about this microchip.
Se pare că aici să vorbim de niște lucruri tehnice care nu prea văd că au vreo legătură, dar Dumnezeu a lucrat și în privința aceasta în ceea ce s-a făcut și o să vă explic mai târziu de ce vă spun aceste lucruri.
When we discovered that we needed to be able to charge that battery,
Când am descoperit că trebuie să încărcăm această baterie,
I needed a temperature change, a change in temperature to cause current to flow through that little charging circuit that would charge the battery.
aveam nevoie de o schimbare de temperatură ca să poată să treacă un circuit prin baterie ca să o încarce.
So we began to investigate and find out where in the body does the temperature change the most rapidly.
Și așa că ne-am dus și am făcut cercetări să vedem în care parte a corpului temperatura se schimbă cel mai mult.
We spent over $1 million in taxpayer money,
Am cheltuit $1.000.000 în proiectul acesta din banii celor care plătesc taxele
and when the results came back,
și când au venit rezultatele,
there was a lot of information.
era foarte multă informație în legătură cu proiectul acesta
We divided it up amongst 3 teams
și am împărțit informațiile în 3 echipe care să le studieze
and then came back together with that information.
și apoi ne-am adunat împreună ca să discutăm informațiile acestea.
It was determined that there were 2 places in the body that were ideal for the microchip.
I'm gonna pause it. I want to read this precept just to show this prophecy, man. That's why it's so heavy. Isaiah 46 and verse 10.
Yep, verse 10.
It's 9:2, but it's 10. I'm gonna just get it real quick. Think about what he's saying. He said they did research because they needed this lithium battery to have a continual charge in order for it to work. And they spend so much money, and it came back. It was 2 spots out of the whole body that transmitted this energy and that they needed to charge. Real quick, Isaiah 46 and 9. Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning. He said at the beginning of the video, they started this in 1966, finished in the early 70s. Apostle John been prophesied about this in 2 spots. Think about this. In 2 spots, Apostle John said, hand and head, preferably the right hand. In Revelation 13, it says the right hand. Revelation 14 says hand, anyone. Hands, anyone. The point is, Apostle John Ben said this as they doing research. He said, we ain't read the Bible or none of that. But this what the Lord had play out in the earth, man, to fulfill his word. Is it not happening? Like, are we not being entertained? Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning. And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Other times, apart before I continue, got something you want to add on?
No, you got it.
Con.
We spent over $1 million in taxpayer money.
Am cheltuit $1 milion în proiectul acesta din banii celor care plătesc taxele.
And when the results came back,
și când au venit rezultatele,
there was a lot of information.
Era foarte multă informație în legătură cu proiectul acesta.
We divided it up amongst 3 teams.
Și ne-am împărțit informațiile în 3 echipe care să le studieze.
And then came back together with that information.
Și apoi ne-am adunat împreună ca să discutăm informațiile acestea.
It was determined that there were 2 places in the body that were ideal for the microchip.
Astfel am ajuns la concluzia că erau 2 locuri în corpul omenesc care sunt ideale pentru a plasa acest microchip.
One was just below the hairline on the forehead.
Una era chiar lângă păr, pe frunte.
Every mother checks their child's temperature right here.
Toate mamele verifică temperatura copilor aici pe frunte.
So we could
in CV19 where they was checking the temperature at the head, that's one of the spots. Oh, look, we stopped on 1044. That's one of the spots, though.
paid the mothers $1 million and saved
Puteam să le
saved
plătim
the
la mame
money.
$1 milion și ne spuneau ele rezultatul. Nu mai trebuia să facem cercetări.
I never saw a mother check their child's temperature on their ankle.
N-am văzut nicio mamă să verifice temperatura copilului la glezne.
Always right here.
Totdeauna aici pe frunte.
The other place was the hand, the right hand preferred, because most people are right-handed.
Alt loc era pe mâna dreaptă, pentru că majoritatea oamenilor sunt cu mâna dreaptă. Dreptaci.
This didn't bother me, and it didn't bother anybody else on the team.
Nu mi-a deranjat lucrul acesta, nici pe mine, nici pe ceilalți din echipă.
The hand seemed a good place. Nobody wanted it here.
Mâna se părea că e cel mai bun loc, pentru că nimeni nu prea vrea să o pune pe frunte.
Until Elon Musk showed up with Neuralink.
Yeah. And so the design work, everything was completed, the microchip was done.
Astfel că munca a fost terminată, proiectul a fost încheiat și microchipul a fost proiectat.
You are seeing it now on some of the Discovery Channel presentations. There are people who have received it already. It is real. It's not something that's coming way down the road.
La televizor ați văzut pe canalul Discovery că vorbesc despre lucrul acesta și sunt oameni care deja l-au. Deci nu e ceva care fantezie, e ceva real.
They told me not to read the book of Revelation.
Și mi-au spus să nu citesc cartea Apocalipsă.
They said the book of Revelation is too hard to understand.
Mi-au spus cartea Apocalipsa e prea greu de înțeles.
So I waited and I didn't read the book of Revelation.
Așa că am așteptat și n-am citit cartea Apocalipsă.
For quite some time.
Pentru un timp destul de lung.
Then one day I came to Revelation 13, verse 16.
Odată am ajuns să citesc în Apocalipsa capitolul 13, versetul 16.
And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Și au făcut ca toți, mici și mari, bogați și săraci, slobozi și robi, să primească un semn pe mâna dreaptă sau pe frunte.
I didn't like what I saw.
Nu prea mi-a plăcut ce am citit acolo.
I went back and looked up the word mark.
M-am dus să văd ce înseamnă.
Mind you, he's seeing right hand and left hand, right hand or forehead after he already did the research, after they put in time, ain't know nothing about it. He read and it's there. The Lord plan, man.
Cuvântul acela, semn.
I went to the Strong's Concordance.
M-am dus la concordanța scrisă de Strong.
And I found that John had used 3 words for the word mark.
Și am văzut că Ioan a folosit 3 cuvinte pentru cuvântul acesta semn.
Charagma, Characater, and Charax.
Sunt numele pe care le-a folosit în limba originală greacă.
That was from the Greek. I looked at those words. They talked about a scratch or an etching. They talked about a lot of things.
Și am vrut să văd ce sens are cuvintele acestea. Parcă era vorba de o zgârietură sau de o linie.
And I said, God, this isn't it. We didn't do it.
Și am spus, Doamne, nu e asta, nu ce am făcut noi.
He said, go to the word for 666.
Și Dumnezeu mi-a zis, mergi la cuvântul care e pentru 666.
The word is chixastigma.
Cuvântul este chixastigma în limba originală a Bibliei.
In the Greek, it says to go to 4742 as a cross.
În greacă spune să mergi la 47-42.
The word in 4742 is the word stigma.
Și acel cuvânt este stigma.
The last half of the word chixastigma.
ultima parte a cuvântului Six Sigma.
And when I looked at what it said,
Și când m-am uitat și am văzut ce spune,
it says, stizo, i.e. to stick, to prick, a mark incised or punched into for recognition of ownership.
și am văzut că însemnează
He sure is right.
o incizie, o înțepătură care se e făcută pentru a arăta proprietatea cuiva sau semnul de proprietate.
I thought about the little injection tool. The end of it is called an incisor.
Și m-am gândit la cuvântul care, la instrumentul care se taie, se face inciziunea, incizitor, bisturiu.
I began to weep and I began to cry and I said, "Oh God, what have we done?"
Și am început să plâng și să zic, Doamne, ce am făcut noi?
Boom.
Yeah, so that's straight from the horse's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Even when that show Esau is diligent. He went and looked up the word for Mark. He looked up the word. He got into the etymon of it to find out he the devil that fulfilled, that made Revelation 13 possible. And his father Most High showed him that. But yeah, go ahead, brother, go ahead.
Kind of got one more. We'll play a couple of minutes of this because this the end goal. This Aaron Russo being interviewed by Alex Jones. And Aaron Russo had a friend that somebody try to be a friend of him and bring him into the inner circle, who was a Rockefeller, who know the secret plans. Well, he told Aaron Russo at the end of the day, our end goal, remember, stand to the topic, what it started off with, in order for them to fulfill this new world order, they got to bring a central bank digital system, currency system. What it says is going to look like, the final step of it is the RFID chip being put in people. You had like Tazapah said, from the horse's mouth himself, they created it not knowing nothing about a right hand and forehead, but it's planned out. And going to Aaron Russo, he got the inside scoop from one of the elites himself, Nick Rockefeller, and he said our end goal is to do what? Chip everybody.
And now what's happened is that through the Federal Reserve System, the bankers have pretty much taken control of our government. It doesn't matter Republican and Democrat anymore because they're both the same. Neither one of them are talking about shutting down the Federal Reserve System or stopping the payment of taxes, or any of the big issues that face Americans, right? So I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller, okay, who was one of the Rockefeller family. And he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me, introduced himself to me through an attorney, and we became friends. We started talking about things. And I learned an awful lot from Mr. Rockefeller. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the ultimate plan of the banking industry, what they wanted to accomplish. And the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks. And they're all part of the Communist Manifesto. Central banking is one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time, we have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right? So right there, you have two major planks of the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind
made reference to communism also. What was the dude, Scott? I'm sorry. Was it Steiner? The first guy you played.
Scott Warner.
Scott Warner. Okay. He made reference to this, linking it to communism. And he's saying they using the Communist Manifesto. The bankers, all right? And so Aaron Russo talking about banking, or the bankers, and this is all being brought about, to bring about a CBDC, which is a central bank digital currency. So it's always been the bankers. He mentioned the bankers run the government now. Mm-hmm. This is what we see in full-fledged. All right, when he was at that time, you know, it might have been fringe, some on the outskirts. But now, right now, it's deeply embedded. The banks run government. All right. At the time, Aaron Russo, somebody could have argued with you and probably got off a few good ones. But they still ran it back then. But they damn sure run it now. And this is what it all boiled down to. And going back to that Rothschild's method. Give me control of a nation's money and I care not who writes its laws, because they essentially become the law makers. But yeah, just back it up just a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Scott Stein. I know that name sounds familiar. That's a Big Papa Pump from the WWE.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I knew I heard that name somewhere.
Yeah.
But
I'll play this back. And then again, he about to hit on. He got this information. Salaki.
No, I ain't heard that name in a minute. I worked with a dude and he left. He left Houston. This back in the day. He said, "Man, I'm going to be a wrestler." And shit, I ain't seen or heard from him since.
Yeah.
But that was his dude with Big Papa Pump.
Yeah, God.
But yeah, you got it, right?
Now we can end it off on this, because again, Aaron Russo, he got this from the source. He got this from somebody who in the inside circle of the elites. The end goal, the ultimate plan is to help everybody, man. And they came out of Richard Warner. There's two witnesses right here. You know, the first witness is the scripture itself. You know, but let them say it.
Right. And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right? So right there, you have two major planks of the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is
going to bring this up.
They want to accomplish. And
what you say?
Right?
Yeah, I got to bring this up because he mentioned the, I believe he said North American Union, but that's still alive. Because that's what Trump, when he was on this tirade, when he went into Venezuela, back the end of January, going into February, he went into Venezuela. He was saying, yeah, we might well take over Greenland too. And then he mentioned also Canada. We might well take over Canada. They, basically we support them or something to that effect. And then he started messing with Mexico. Well, that's the union right there. That's what Aaron Russo just talked about. So, Trump mentioned it, and then people kind of blow it off. But this is the plan of the elites. And then they put it out there casually or kind of flippantly, joking and shit. But that's really the plan. And he talked about Cuba, Colombia, and that's all of the whole Western Hemisphere.
Right.
That could be the plan. But anyway, yeah, I just, because that was back in the day, maybe the 90s, early 90s. And a lot of what he's saying is hitting right now.
Right. No. Yep.
But go ahead.
Yep. Habakkuk 2 and 3 from the brother Bamalak. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. And how's it speaking? You're right. Not the Lord giving the prophets tangible proof. Not now that we could say things and we could show examples. We
Oh,
can show articles, show videos, show
that's
how
right,
it's been
brother.
in the RFID chip been in the head, and show how it's in the hands. Show how it's been a miracle to be used. We can prove these things that we sent. You know, once upon a time, like say back in the days, the apostles them probably didn't have as much information to prove it with. It was more so just scripture and you know, and the
Yeah.
blue letter, and they
faith.
might have that club in Europe, they had it, and, you know, and show some pictures on the sign. But now we have so much proof to prove the point that it's happening. It's like it's a Zaquan.
Yep. No, you good, brother. You got it.
Kind of says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And I read this one too, Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall.
Hmm. I can't hear nothing.
And all that see them shall flee away. Yep. And that's pretty much it though. We can
And they want to create a new
I don't know,
currency
for some
called the
reason,
America.
it's breaking up.
Right? Chips. And so and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing.
It's breaking
You
up.
can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's
I don't know why.
total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what you sell.
Everything is in there.
Yeah, it's connected to them data centers.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
They call it the cloud.
Mm.
The cloud and the blockchain running things.
Yeah. But yeah, you could take us out, Zaquan. That was it though.
Now look, we're gonna end out where you started. This select it. GMS Rich in Faith. Psalm 64 and 8. Because you started in Psalm 64. It says, so shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Right? And that's talking about the whistleblowers. Okay, in the case of Aaron Russo, that would be Nick Rockefeller.
Yep.
You know, they spill the beans. All right, that's the brother Lamar. The water, they tell the planes. You know, Scott Steiner, he made mention of it at the beginning of the video. I believe that was him that made mention of it. But right, you got these people that they kind of egotistical, and they sitting on this wealth of knowledge. They can't just hold it. They got to go tell somebody, you know.
Right.
But then you got these people that's been done wrong by, they participated thinking they had a part in the plan. They had something coming. And they feel like they've been slighted. And so they speak out.
Yeah, they feel
Then you
played.
got those who just grow a conscience. Or they might have felt one way at one time, just like old boy. He felt one way at one time. He didn't give a fuck about it. Yeah, that wasn't his word. I didn't even care about a Christian.
Right.
That was his word. And then, the Heavenly Father put a little conscience on him. And he said they told him, no, look at Revelation. And so that's going to make you want to look at Revelation. But then the Heavenly Father was showing them, yeah, look, this is what you did. But you had that people have that change of heart. And they like, damn, I did that, or I did this. And so to try to get a little peace of mind, for lack of a better term, so they could sleep at night. You know, they'll go and tell the planes, you know, to try to get some type of to take some of that karma off of them. But you know, that's Psalm 64 and 8. Their tongue falling upon themselves, them revealing their own plans before they come into fruition. All right. But the main thing right now to come into fruition that they have planned, in the words of Job, when he is about to fill his belly, all right, when he going for the main goal, which is to tokenize all humans on earth and take ownership of, or as many as he can. You know, he ain't gonna get everybody, but that's his mindset. He wants everybody. All right. But right, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High is gonna cast the wrath of his fury all across this devil, up and down, sideways. He gonna get it from every which way, every possible angle. There will be no escape. All right. You see what the Lord did to us. We were gods. We dwelling in projects, drinking 40s, malt liquor and shit. So you see how the Most High did us and smoking crack. We was gods. So you see how the Lord did us. Most High say he got wrath for indignation forever against Edom. Yeah, you can. That's why the scriptures say we're gonna say in Isaiah 14, is this the man?
Right.
This the man that ran the world? This the man was charging me rent, making me put my seatbelt on, purchase insurance. I had to. This the man, I got scared. I seen them red and blue lights behind me. Because that's how low the Most High. When you read Isaiah 14, that's all it's talking about. How art thou fallen from heaven? O Lucifer is talking about Esau, Edom. And them being brought from their lofty position down to the pits of hell, which is the grave. All right? Not what they teach in church. But yeah, they're gonna be brought low. All right, to match their spirit. Because their spirit is, I mean, look at the world. They have the rulership of the world, and everyone is miserable. Everyone except them at the top. Everyone is miserable. But he's supposed to be some superior, supreme, you know, better than everybody. Why is everybody miserable? That's his nature. That's the nature of a devil. He's only going to do for self, and that's it. Anything he tell you, oh, we going to do this and I'm going to do this for you, it's a lie. He's currently, right now, rape, robbing, pillaging the entire world. All right. And in the hopes right now of locking everything down. This is what's going on right now. That's the conflict in Ukraine and Russia. That's the conflict with the small hats in Iran. All right. And that's about to be the conflict with China and Taiwan.
Right.
Possibly Japan. And who's at the center of all this? The great whore that sitteth upon many waters, right in the midst of Ukraine, right in the midst of Iran, and right in the midst of China stirring this shit up. Why? In the hopes of global dominance. Professor Yang got a good breakdown on it, but this is all being done for global dominance. and they got everything and everyone so separated and discombobulated that they can't see what's going on. Here in America, all you see prices going up. They need to open the straits or the strait. Yeah, it's deeper than that. You know, they just took over the oil in Venezuela. I just mentioned Venezuela, and Salaki for being long-winded, but why do we need the strait open? And this refineries all right here in Houston, all throughout Texas, all throughout Louisiana, nothing but refineries. Why are we paying all of this? Why are we going through all this? Because none of this is done on your behalf. And this is what is coming down to, the tokenization of everybody. You will own nothing and shut your mouth about it.
That's right.
This is what they told you. So how would you and who would be happy owning nothing? No, that was a slick, sly statement, you know, just to say, yeah, we gonna own everything, and we wish you would say something about it, because they're gonna have everybody in check who take this mark. All right. So I ain't gonna get all long-winded, but right, this tokenization is heavy of everybody, because the system that's coming is just a continuation of what they gonna do is take the American system that where it already isn't. This is what not Lynette Zane, what's the other woman? The blonde head.
Man
We
with the
talked about
glasses.
the three pillars we went
Yeah,
into last week.
The glasses, Carol, damn.
I always forget her name.
Yeah, we watched her a
Lynette
lot.
Zane is the other chick. She
Yeah,
going
she got
to
the glasses, Carol.
but that lady, I know brothers know on the thing, they probably didn't already burn off. But
Carolyn Austin
yeah,
Fitz.
Karen Austin Fitz.
Catherine Austin Fitz.
Yeah,
That's the
Catherine
brother.
Austin
He said Fitz, but the brother Kaabia, the water. But he said Fitz, but yeah, Catherine Austin Fitz. That's it.
That's her. And shit, what she say? Iran is the last. That's the leak that they got to plug up, because Iran ain't really under a central bank, all right, as the rest of the world is, all right. And so this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna take the American system global with the states, the countries that don't already have central bank control. They're gonna bring it there, all right. So right, what Catherine was saying, Iran is a leak, because going to your video, as old boy Scott said, you can't have no cash in the system, because that'll undermine the system. You need a closed system. You cannot have leaks. So, right, they want to do this globally. And so I'm gonna leave it right there. When they get everybody tokenized, all this that global debt go with that, and everybody gonna be brought in the system in that. And so the old system continues, in other words, but digitally. And so I said all that to say that it's a continuation of the old. So with all that being said, you had anything out?
La, you got it.
All right, we'll close that right there. We're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory before we leave unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders, apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings, all right, to the 144,000 and all of the rest of the elect and the hopeful elect. Y'all keep pushing, stay hopeful, and to the next one, Shalom.
Shalom. The water for
Shalom.
tuning in.